We back. Yeah, we back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped last night entitled, White Men Having Panic Attacks Because of Black Population Growth. And in that video, we spoke about how the global black population is set to explode over the next century, right? As the birth rate in European nations and Western nations continues to decline, the birth rate of the black man will skyrocket over the next few decades. And towards the end of that video, I started speaking about how it's time for black men to plan for the future. And part of that plan is taking back control of our natural resources, because we will have a large population to feed. We have a large population to take care of. So yeah, we need all that back. The oil, the gas, the gold, the copper, the uranium, the nickel, the cobalt, the coltan, the manganese, the bauxite, the silver, the platinum, the iron ore, the zinc, the coal, the lithium. We need all that back. Yeah, we need all that back because we're going to have a large population to feed, and we got an entire diaspora. So I'm sorry, brother. Just let you know, we're going to need that back. Now, today we're going to be talking about Mali. Now, I've been covering the ongoing economic warfare that's taking place in Mali between the military government and some of the multinational corporations, especially in the mining sector, in the gold sector. Take a look up on the screen. 2 weeks ago, I dropped a video entitled, Mali arrests the CEO of $1 billion gold mining company. And in that video, we spoke about how the CEO of the company Resolute Mining was arrested in the capital, and he was detained, and he was charged with financial crimes. Take a look up on the screen. Australian gold company confirms the arrest of the CEO and 2 executives in Mali. That article came out on the 10th of November. Take a look up on the screen. Resolute Mining loses $500 million after the military government detains the CEO in West Africa. That article came out on November 11th. And as you can see, after the military government in Mali had arrested the CEO of Resolute Mining, $500 million was wiped from the company's market value. In one day, $500 million gone, 32% drop in the stock price. Let's continue. Now, last week they came to an agreement. Take a look up on the screen. Mali wins $160 million in a gold mining dispute after detaining a British businessman. Now, I want to focus on where it says British businessman. Keep in mind, Resolute Mining is a company that is based in Australia. And the company we're going to talk about today, where the executives are arrested, Barrick Gold, that's based in Canada. But I told you, when you look at the executives of these companies, right, they're based in these countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand. But then you look at the executives and you see, man, this guy's from France. This guy's from Great Britain. This guy's an American citizen, right? But a lot of times you see what they do is they set up these companies in these like obscure nations that you don't really think about, like Canada, Australia. And I call these nations like burner accounts for Western capital. So they can do business under a Canadian name, right? Under a Canadian headquarters. But the executives at the company are really French. They're doing business under an Australian name, but really the executives are really British. So you got to watch out for that, man. You got to watch out for that, right? They're going to have you thinking, oh, this is an Australian company, but the executives at the company are British. And that's why when he was arrested, he was trying to get in contact with the British embassy, and the British government was negotiating on his behalf. And that's why you got to be on high alert, man. Our enemies are very crafty. But anyways, I'm going to go deeper on that in another video. That's not the main topic of today. The main topic of today is Barrick Gold. Barrick Gold, the second largest gold mining company on the planet. I did a video on them a while back. Take a look up on the screen about a month ago, entitled The Mali Government versus the Second Largest Gold Miner in the World. And in that video, we spoke about how the military government had arrested some executives over at Barrick Gold because they were trying to renegotiate the contracts and get a bigger share of the profits. Yeah, we need a majority of the profits. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I believe the executives were released and they were still going through ongoing negotiations, and Barrick Gold had agreed to actually renegotiate the numbers, actually give the Malian government a bigger share of the profits, the majority share of the profits. And I seen headlines coming out that I believe they were coming to an agreement. Take a look up on the screen. Barrick Gold sees a deal with the Mali government over a new mining code before the year end, right? So back on the 7th of November, they said before the end of the year, they should be coming to a deal. They should be coming to a new agreement that is mutually beneficial and everybody should be happy, right? Now, coming to find out, a couple of days ago, I see a headline in the news. Take a look up on the screen. 4 Barrick Gold employees detained in Mali in a second wave of arrests over foreign miners' revenues. Now, I don't know what's going on, man. I guess negotiations have broke down and they are now back in custody. They are now back in detention. Take a look up on the screen. Mali arrests 4 senior employees of Canadian mining company as it presses firms for more taxes. Now, like I said before, you got to watch these obscure nations, right? These weird nations, Canada, Australia. Like, what you doing with a mining company worth billions of dollars? Then you look at the executives and they go back to, France, Great Britain, the United States. You got to watch these guys and they burner accounts. They burner corporations. Let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Barrick Gold employees are arrested in Mali amid ongoing dispute. The military government has threatened to take back Barrick's mine permit. The detention comes amid tension over mining revenue from the industry. Let's jump straight into the article. Authorities in Mali have arrested 4 senior employees of a Canadian mining company as the military regime in the West African nation continues to arrest workers to pressure companies in its crucial mining sector to pay millions in additional taxes. Barrick Gold, in a statement Tuesday, confirmed that 4 employees at the Loulo-Gounkoto mining complex have been charged and awaited trial after their arrest Monday evening. The company says it rejects the charges, but did not say what they were. The Malian authorities have refused to comment on the arrests. Discussions between Barrick and the Malian authorities on implementing new regulations at one of the African nation's largest gold mines have been ongoing for months. Sources cited by Reuters reported that Mali is seeking around $500 million in unpaid taxes from Barrick as the government aims to increase revenue from the mining sector. Like I told you, bro, we need all that back. Yeah, we need all that back. That's gonna be the movement. Hashtag we need that back. Hashtag we need that back. Let's continue. The same Barrick Gold employees also were briefly taken into custody back in September. Yeah, like I mentioned before, I made a video on that like a month ago. Barrick Gold says it has been seeking to finalize an agreement that would guide its partnership with the Malian government, including the state share of the economic benefits generated by the mining site and the legal framework under which this will be managed. In Tuesday's statement, Barrick Gold CEO Mark Bristow said that attempts to find a mutually accepted resolution have so far been unsuccessful, but we remain committed to engage with the government in order to resolve all the claims levied against the company and its employees and secure the early release of our unjustly imprisoned colleagues. Man, where do I begin? Like I told you before, we gonna need that back. Hashtag we need that back. So I hope you put some money aside for a rainy day. Because for a very long time, y'all been able to make money hand over fist, right? Not even paying your goddamn taxes. So I hope you put some money aside for a rainy day because hashtag we need that back. Now, as you can see, the military government in Mali going head first at these multinational corporations, trying to renegotiate the contracts and get a bigger piece of the profits. And like I always tell you on my videos, Africa is the backbone to the modern global economy. Africa is the backbone to the modern economy. So if at any given time, African governments wake up one day and decide to shut their doors or shut off the tap, it's going to be a lot of folks crying and boo-hooing and selling off their properties and selling. It's going to be a lot of, slow singing and flower bringing if the goddamn money machine starts ringing. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you right now. For a very long time, Western multinational corporations have been able to enjoy these lopsided contracts that were signed by puppet governments, illegitimate governments that were not working in the interest of the people, but were working in the interest of Western capital. So now when you get a regime in place that is actually trying to stand on the interest of the people, now this is what happened. Folks start going to jail. The stock price starts crashing. Executives start getting arrested because they wasn't paying their taxes. This is what happens. And I hope you're not surprised because I hope you didn't think it was going to last forever. I hope you didn't think it was going to last forever. And to be honest, this is perfect timing because like I told you before, the price of gold has been skyrocketing as of recently. So right now is the perfect time for the Malian government to strike because they're one of the largest gold producers in the world. So it makes no sense for all that money to be circulating in the Western economies. Hell nah. Hashtag we need that back. Yeah. Hashtag we need that back. So as the price of gold has recently been on a high, now is the perfect time to renegotiate the contracts. Yeah, it's time to sit back at the table. Yeah. So that's why, as you can see, the military government in Mali has been going around arresting the CEO of Resolute Mining, arresting the CEO of Barrick Gold. They already got the CEO of Resolute Mining to agree to pay over $160 million. Now they want $500 million from Barrick Gold. And I believe behind the scenes, they've already came to agreements with a couple other gold mining companies in the country as well. So they're going around getting that check, man. They're going around talking about cut the check. Now, let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Earlier this month, the CEO of Australian company Resolute Mining and 2 employees were arrested in Mali's capital. They were released after the company paid $80 million to the Malian authorities to resolve a tax dispute and promised to pay a further $80 million in the coming months. Mali is one of Africa's leading gold producers, but it has struggled for years with jihadi violence and high levels of poverty and hunger. The military seized power in 2020, and the regime has placed foreign mining companies under growing pressure as it seeks to shore up government revenues. Hashtag we need that back. Let's continue. Last year, Mali's military authorities carried out an audit of the mining sector before drawing up a new mining code this year. In August, authorities set up a commission to negotiate with mining companies over what the government says they owe according to the audit. Now, like I always say, the black man doesn't understand the level of geopolitical influence and power that he has when it comes to international affairs. You have the power to destroy multi-billion-dollar companies with the stroke of a pen. You don't gotta fire a single shot. You don't gotta fire a single missile, and you can destroy whole entire companies. You can destroy whole entire economies. You saw what happened to Resolute Mining, $500 million in market share destroyed in a single day. 32% drop in the stock price. They had to suspend the trading on the entire stock. And that's just the gold sector. It's gonna get real tragic if we start going into the other sectors. It's gonna get real bad real fast. Cause like I mentioned in my video last night, they always talk about the so-called foreign aid that Western nations give to Africa. But I raised a counter argument that actually, no, it's actually Africa that gives foreign aid to the West. It's actually Africa that does charity for the West, because without its strategic partnerships with Africa, the Western economy would be destroyed in less than a year. Western militaries will be destroyed in less than a year because they wouldn't have the technologies, they wouldn't have access to the resources that power their economies. So, like I said, we don't gotta fire a single shot. With the stroke of a pen, we can destroy your entire operation. We don't gotta fire a single missile. And you don't got nobody to blame but yourself, because this is how you set up your economy. You set up your economy based on the exploitation of African labor and African resources, right? Which means that without those resources, the Western economic machine cannot function. And it's not only about having access to the resources, but having access to the resources at low prices, right? Meaning that just by raising the price, if we raise the price on you, it's gonna fuck up your whole economy. Just by us raising the price, it's gonna destroy your entire operation from top to bottom. And that's why you see these ongoing negotiations between Mali and Barrick Gold, because Mali is probably demanding a number that Barrick Gold refuses to pay because they feel like that's a price way too high. We're not going to be able to maintain our profit margins. So that's why they're probably going back and forth. And Mali was like, fuck it, you're going back into custody, right? So we're going to put you in custody so you can get your mind right. And then maybe, you can get your mind right and then we can come back to the table. But in the meantime, put your hands behind your back. But that's the unfortunate reality. In order for Africa to be competitive, in order for Africa to develop, the Western economy has to take a massive hit. The Western economy must take a massive loss. That's simply the reality of the matter. And that's why they do everything in their power to suppress our economies, to always cause chaos and instability, to make sure the governments are weak so they're not strong enough to assert their sovereignty. And by the off chance that we get a good leader, a solid leader that is standing in the interest of the people, they do everything in their power to depose him, to remove him, to assassinate him, and replace him with somebody with no integrity, no honor, no dignity, who is willing to work in the power of foreign interests. And then they turn around and tell us this is democracy, right? Because like I told you, a prosperous Africa, a strong Africa is the destruction of the Western economy. As our economies begin to grow and capital begins to circulate within the continent, that means less money flowing away from the continent and into the Western economy, meaning that they have less economic surplus to work with that they've enjoyed for centuries. And over time, our prosperity will lead to their destruction. And they know it. Deep down, they know it. But anyways, man, this is your boy Neferkari Salim back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city they loving me. Standing alone I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting is still in reach. They trying to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress I been gained weight. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drive a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wifey and hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Yeah. Making the news. Making the news. Breaking the rules. Yeah, yeah. Know that we making the news. Yeah, yeah.